Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the mystery film, The Box. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We upload multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. A CIA internal memo is typed on the screen as the movie opens. It claims that Arlington steward, Frank Langella, who suffered terrible burn injuries, has recovered and is now transporting equipment for the Mars mission. When the doorbell rings at 5:45 in the morning in 1976, Norma, Cameron Diaz, and Arthur Lewis, James Marsden, who are cuddled in bed, awaken. Norma descends the stairs and watches a black automobile leave via the peephole. She finds a package on her doorstep when she opens the door. She and her husband discover a wooden box with a button inside that is covered in glass, locked with a key, and bearing the note, "Mr. Stewart will come at 5 o'clock, inside." The following morning, Walter, Sam Stone, Norma, and Arthur have a pleasant breakfast together. Arthur works in optics for NASA and was involved in the camera design for the Viking Mars lander. He discovers that he was disqualified from the astronaut program because he did poorly on the psychological test. When Norma arrives at work, the students are studying Sartre's conception of hell in her literature class at a prestigious private school. She exhibits her deformed right foot, which is missing 4 toes, to her class after one of her students comments on her limp. After class, Norma's manager tells her she won't longer receive a tuition discount and won't be able to send her son to school. Arlington's steward knocks on their door after Norma gets home later on that day. His face is missing half of it. When Norma glances at the time, she sees that it is 5 p.m. According to Arlington, if she or her husband press the button, someone they don't know will pass away and they will each win $1 million. Arlington gives Norma a $100 bill from the small case of cash and tells her she may keep it regardless of whether the button is pressed or not. She has 24 hours, Arlington reminds her before departing. Norma informs Arthur when he gets back what transpired. Norma suddenly jerks forward and punches the button after much deliberation over whether or not they should press the button and some fiddling with the box. Arthur finds nothing inside it. The button slightly ascends. Arlington reappears and hands the million to Norma and Arthur without checking to see if they click the button or not. He says they won't know who will get the offer next and suggests that either Arthur, Norma, or their son will pass away. Arlington drives away as Arthur chases after him and tries to return the million. The license plate number is given to Arthur. A 911 call with a shooting victim is displayed. When the police arrive, they discover a woman who has been shot in the heart and a young child who has been trapped in the upstairs bathroom. Following that, Arthur and Norma go to a wedding rehearsal dinner where Arthur is given the task of choosing a gift from a table, Secret Santa. The waiter, who also happens to be Norma's pupil who inspired her to disclose her deformity, extends 2 fingers to Arthur. Then Arthur notices a box with the button in it that resembles the one that was placed on their porch. This time, inside was a picture of Arlington. The student Arthur observed was the one who made fun of his wife's foot, Norma's sister informs Arthur. When Arthur runs across Norma's police officer father, he begs him to check Arlington's car's license plate number. Norma gets a call, which she learns from the waiter who is directing her to the phone as his nose starts to bleed. As Arlington somehow knows Arthur has spoken to Norma's father, it is Arlington who chastises her for allowing her husband to contact the police. The kid from Norma's class is confronted by Arthur, who screams at him for making fun of Norma. Norma follows him as he rushes out of the gathering. They observe no exit, the name of the Sartre play they saw earlier, inscribed in the frost on their windshield when they turn on their car. When they come home, Arthur brings Dana, their nanny, home. Dana had previously taken their son Walter down to the basement to see Arthur's Mars collection. She takes note of the photo of every person who participated in the camera's creation. Dana behaves strangely when they are traveling, posing odd queries to Arthur like, "What's pushing your buttons?" and making remarks like, "Look into the light." As her nose starts to bleed, she faints. When Arthur tries to rouse her up, he discovers her driver's license, which reveals that her real name is Sarah and that she is from Boston, not Dana. When he arrives at the motel where Dana has been staying, she starts to stir. She advises Arthur to look in the mirror because it is the only location with the solution because it is not safe for him to be there. She then leaves quickly. Every door she passes in the motel opens, and someone who appears shocked glares at her. She enters her room, which is furnished with a sizable map and images of Walter, Norma, and Arthur. At home, Arthur notices that Arlington, before his accident, is depicted in the basement's enormous picture. An anxious woman approaches Norma at a grocery store and tells her to search up a specific call number in the library and not to believe her husband before collapsing and bleeding from the nose. Arthur learns that the NSA is the registered owner of Arlington's license plate. He requests permission from Norma's father to accompany him to the residence where the earlier reported gunshot occurred. Once there, he discovers images of Arlington, a picture of a book on human resources, a library call number, and other items. When Norma pulled the button at 4:45 p.m., Arthur finds out that the woman had been shot at the same time. Separately, Norma and Arthur go to the library. According to the woman in the grocery store, Norma stays away from Arthur. A movie reel that Norma discovers depicts Arlington's appearance before his deformity. A group of individuals who appear surprised follow Arthur. He arrives in a big hall where more people who appear to be terrified are present. He approaches the wife of Arlington, who instructs him to accompany her. 3 gateways, constructed of hovering water, are offered to him. One leads to redemption, the other 2 to eternal damnation. Arthur chooses gate 2 after recalling the student who raised 2 fingers. As soon as he gets in the water, he starts to spin about in a sea of white. 2 hollow-looking ladies also lead Norma to Arlington. She responds that she felt loved because of her foot when she saw his deformity in response to his question about how she felt. She claims that she had self-pity about her foot and that witnessing someone with a disfiguring facial injury made her understand she would never experience self-pity again. Her brother had dropped a barbell on her foot many years prior, and when she visited the doctor, he placed the barbell in an X-ray machine while he forgot about her, causing the tissue in 4 of her toes to be destroyed. Arlington tells Norma that because of the lightning strike he received, he is now able to connect with those who control the lightning. Arlington holds Norma's hand as she sobs and starts to sob. Arthur is abruptly floating above Norma in the same hovering water he entered previously, while she is unexpectedly lying on her bed. Just before Arthur exits the pool, Norma walks away. Along with falling down their stairs, the water also does so. Walter begs to know what is happening while he cleans up. He gets no response from Norma or Arthur. More drama ensues, and at Norma's sister's wedding, their son Walter is ultimately taken hostage. A former NASA employee with a gun removes Arthur. According to the 911 call, he is the same man who shot his wife. He tells Arthur that he has to decide between his daughter and his wife. When he is asked who pulled the button, Norma or him, he responds that his wife was also responsible. He demonstrates to Arthur the triptychs or water gateways and the book shown earlier in the image. The book is a manual of sorts. A man wearing a Santa Claus outfit then stops them by ringing a bell. The 2 men are struck by a big truck while they are attempting to understand what is happening. Then, after being encircled by soldiers, Arthur is seen leaving a NASA warehouse. His NASA acquaintance takes him aside and warns him that whatever occurs after will have far-reaching effects. Arlington is in their kitchen when Arthur and Norma get home. He tells them that there are only 2 possibilities left. Walter, their kid, is now blind and deaf. They have 2 options: they can continue to live with their $1 million and their disabled son, or Arthur can shoot Norma in the heart, restoring Walter's sight and hearing and transferring the $1 million to Walter's trust until he turns 18. Arlington's employers test the human race to determine whether they are worth maintaining, as we previously learned when Arlington's minion questioned him in front of a warehouse full of startled individuals. Arlington departs, informing Norma and Arthur en route that their kid is upstairs, locked in the bathroom. He cannot hear them banging on the door as the 2 of them rush upstairs to try to free him. When they reach the conclusion that they must make a decision, Norma takes Arthur downstairs. Another pair is seated at a table with a box unit, mockingly glancing at it and debating whether to move it. The wife activates the switch. As they say goodbye, Arthur and Norma cry and embrace one another. The moment Arthur shoots Norma, the police show up. His son is back to normal when he rushes upstairs to check. This implies that the procedure will continue indefinitely. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.